We all know that sound, right? The alarm. And in that one moment, you're caught between sleep and the day ahead, and a battle begins. Do you hit snooze or do you rise? Believe it or not, that very first decision can set the stage for everything else. Seriously, think about it for a second. What's the toughest thing you have to do? Is it some huge project at work, a difficult phone call? Or is it something way earlier, way simpler? Is it just getting out of bed? You see, for millions of people, that first battle of the day is won or lost before the sun even comes up. Because in the Islamic tradition, waking up isn't just about starting your day. It's about showing up for your first and maybe most important appointment. It's a moment that can literally define the next 24 hours. So, what is this challenge that happens in the quiet pre-dawn hours? Well, it all revolves around a specific act of worship known as the Fajr prayer. Okay, so Fajr is the very first of the 5 daily prayers that are mandatory in Islam. It's actually a really short prayer. But here's the catch. It's the timing that makes it such a test of your discipline. You have to perform it in that small window of time right after the first light of dawn, but before the sun actually rises. Now, the exact timing is calculated really precisely based on something called true dawn. But the main idea, the core principle, is the same across the board. It's an act of worship that by its very nature demands that you conquer your sleep and get up early. And what's so fascinating is that this struggle is not a new thing. This is not a modern problem. This quote from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, shows that even over 1400 years ago, Fajr was known to be one of the toughest prayers to perform. That just goes to show you how important overcoming that challenge really is. So, if it's that difficult, what's really holding us back? Is it just that we're tired? Well, Islamic teachings point to something deeper, something that goes beyond just being physically exhausted. It's what you could call a spiritual sickness. The Arabic word for it is kasal. And kasal isn't just about feeling a little sleepy. It's a deep state of laziness, a kind of spiritual heaviness that stops you from doing the things you know you're supposed to be doing. And this is where we see a really crucial distinction. On one side, you've got something called ajz. That's when you are genuinely incapable of doing something. You're sick, you're physically unable, you literally cannot do it. But on the other side, you have kasal. That's when you do have the ability, but you just choose not to. It's that, I just don't feel like it feeling. That is the real enemy we're talking about here. And in this fight against kasal, against this spiritual laziness, there's an enemy. And this enemy has a favorite weapon. That little whisper you hear that says, don't worry about it now. You can always do it later. This weapon actually has a name, taswīf. It's that simple yet incredibly destructive habit of procrastination. It's the voice of, I'll get to it in an hour, or I'll start tomorrow. And for centuries, Islamic scholars have warned that this is one of Satan's most powerful tricks, because later has a nasty habit of turning into never. And listen, this is not some modern productivity hack or self-help idea. We're talking about ancient wisdom. The famous 12th century scholar Imam Ibn al-Jawzi wrote all about this tactic in his book, The Devil's Deceptions. He called procrastination the ultimate enemy of our soul, a trap designed to make us miss our best opportunities. There's this incredibly vivid teaching from the Prophet that paints a picture of this struggle. It says that when you go to sleep, Satan literally ties 3 knots on the back of your head. And with each knot, he whispers, the night is long, just keep sleeping. And what's the result? If you listen to that voice, you wake up feeling heavy, lazy, and just foggy. Okay, so we've identified the battle, the enemy, and his favorite weapon. So how in the world do we fight back? Well, the good news is, Islam doesn't just point out the problem, it gives you an entire spiritual toolkit to win. So, how do you get rid of those 3 knots? That same teaching gives us a crystal clear 3-step plan. Step 1, the moment you wake up, you remember God. Boom, the first knot is untied. Step 2, you get up and perform ablution, washing your hands, your face. Pop, the second knot is gone. And finally, when you stand up to pray, the third and final knot is released. It's like a spiritual cheat code to start your day totally free and clear. But it's not just about spiritual actions. This famous story perfectly explains the Islamic mindset. See, true faith isn't passive. You don't just sit back and hope things work out. You have to do your part. You have to tie your camel, meaning you set the alarm, you go to bed early, you take all the practical steps, and then you trust in God to give you the strength to follow through. And this powerful piece of advice really drives that point home.
It's basically a direct order to fight procrastination. Use your youth before you're old. Use your health before you get sick. Use your money before poverty. Your free time before you get busy. And your life before it's over. It's all about grabbing the moment you have right now because it won't last forever.
All right, so what's the payoff for all this work? What actually happens when you win that first fight of the day, when you untie all those knots? Well, the teaching doesn't just tell us about the problem, it tells us about the prize. When you win, you start the morning energetic and in good spirits. Just think about that. You can wake up lazy and foggy, or you can wake up energetic and happy. The choice you make has an immediate reward. And this is where you get a kind of spiritual ripple effect. That one small victory at dawn invites something called barakah into your day. Barakah is this amazing concept of divine blessing and abundance in your time and your work. You know those days where you're just in the flow and everything works out? That's barakah. And it can all start with that one simple choice in the morning. So really, when you get down to it, this whole thing is a training ground. It's about more than just one prayer. Winning that first battle in the morning builds a mindset that you can use all day long. It helps you transform every lazy moment, every hesitation, into a chance to live with purpose. So as we wrap this up, the big question for you is this. It's not just about a prayer, it's about a principle. So what's your first battle? Maybe it's waking up. Maybe it's hitting the gym or starting that big project. What is that one thing you can win tomorrow morning to set your whole day up for victory?